So last week, NCSoft West laid off 20% of its staff, and its CEO, Jeff Anderson, is going to be stepping down after only serving 18 months in his current position. Now, this might sound like a lot, but in the end, the company had around 400 employees, and so they're going to be reducing staff by 80 to 100 different employees, and they confirm, or they continue to sell us that this is not going to have an impact on Throne and Liberty. This developing news continue further speculation that either Amazon Games or Microsoft might be kind of the Western publisher for the release of Throne and Liberty later this year. They are targeting a first half of 2023 for the release, and with the upcoming beta only in local, which is in and of itself pretty wild. I talked about that in the last video. There's positives, there's negatives. I think overall, there's an underpinning of where's the real kind of gameplay. We've seen a little bit of performance issues in the trailers that they provided, but beyond that, there's also the hope of that this could be a good thing, that it's an unsolved MMO, and we really don't get those anymore. And so that's going to be kind of the juxtaposition of that debate. But let's talk about this specifically, because I think there's a couple real key points. I'm going to tell you why I personally am feeling that Amazon is the one who's going to be kind of the publisher for the West. Could be wrong, anything can change behind the scenes, but that's going to be the crux of this video. I'm going to go over the financials, what has been shared publicly, and we can start to speculate and have that discussion. I'm very curious, or really curious, I don't know, Rary came in here, but like what your guys' thoughts on any and all this here in the comments below. But first and foremost, hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Brian if you're new around here, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back, you sexy beast. That's what you get for subscribing, by the way. Free compliments around the midsection of these videos. I think this will be a pretty short, sweet video itself. But if you guys do subscribe, you will be joining an elite 23% of you guys who have. And if you feel like these videos earn it, hitting that like button is an excellent way of supporting these videos and the life of these videos over the next course of the couple weeks. But first and foremost, it's interesting that we're seeing this announcement coming in. 20% of the workforce for NC West. That's essentially where, like, we know NCSoft publishes games here in the West. In fact, they've got a massive catalog of Aeon, Blade and Soul, Lineage, Guild Wars, just to name a few. Now, Blade and Soul, I think, has been struggling recently. Over the course of the technology, we've seen all the big tech giants laying off more and more employees over just the last couple of months alone. I don't think that's going to be the end of it. Right now, we're kind of in that season of we've maybe overhired, or free money is no longer pouring in. We might want to scale back and protect ourselves and defend ourselves. And that's kind of where I think Amazon is a unique position. While Amazon has announced layoffs, their games division, they're going all in on games. And my personal experience, having been able to work with them through my New World coverage, being able to kind of talk with the community team, being able to talk to some of the devs there, like Amazon is all in. It's a very exciting time, a very exciting place. And that means, and we've seen them already pick up the Blue Protocol publishing rights. And when you start to even just play around on their new content creator dashboard, there's lots of room for a lot more games. Right now, Amazon has Blue Protocol, New World, and Lost Ark. And I think that they're pretty much going to try to step up and compete with what PlayStation's trying to do, in which that they want 10 games as a service games in their catalog. Microsoft's also kind of going and fighting the good fight. They want to be able to acquire Activision Blizzard. They want that Diablo 4. They want that WoW. They want to add in as many of those games as services, reoccurring service-based games as possible. This is, I like service-based games. I'm excited for Throne and Liberty. I think what they've already shown me has sold me, and I'm really just curious and only have a handful of questions that remain. And I'm sure those same questions are the same questions you have. Like, how's the monetization? Is it going to really lean into pay to win? Because at that point, I'm just not interested. The game is going to try and rob me blind. But at the same time, I recognize the shifting model of businesses, and that's why we're going to start to see more battle passes make their way into the MMO. Now, whoever does it right, I think will help set a standard for what works and what doesn't work within this genre, because I don't think a battle pass translates 100% like you would see in a battle royale, something that is PvP and cosmetic based. I think within the MMO, being how grindy. We tend to like our grindy games. As my voice fails me, we tend to like, those journeys and those adventures. I could see the Battle Pass doing something like they do in Minecraft Dungeons or Halo Infinite, as they don't expire in those games. And I think that's actually the right way forward for the Battle Pass, personally speaking. For me, I find it really odd, and that the CEO only recently joined within 18 months, and then all of this is changing and happening. That tells me there's a couple things going on behind the scenes. Either he wasn't able to hit numbers or metrics that they were hoping for, which is kind of on the global state of the economy, maybe more so than he, or maybe he just wasn't on board with what is being negotiated and discussed when it comes to working with Amazon or working with Microsoft. Microsoft and Amazon both have the network and the server architecture that allows them to really run at scale. Amazon's downfall here, and this isn't so much for those who are going to be playing it like in Korea, but Amazon doesn't yet have an SEA region, and we feel that with Lost Ark, we feel that with New World, and we will feel that with Blue Protocol, unless ultimately that makes some kind of change here in the future. So I think when it comes down to it, Amazon's probably a little bit more aggressive. They really want to pick up this deal. This would ultimately really drive, from a content creation perspective, a very positive vibe with drops. The fact is that they got these drops and these campaigns, and from a marketing perspective, like when you go look at the hype cycles of these games, there's a lot of really good things going on. You might be saying like, oh, Amazon's awful. They're doing a poor job. Well, I would actually invite you to go look at the evidence. Like when you there is a gamer who says that, and then there's the reality that they're kind of up against. And when it comes down to the hype, I don't know if anybody within the Twitch world with drops is doing these kind of things better. Now we could talk about the reality of Twitch for a second, where like most of your bigger streamers, their numbers are fake. They're not real numbers. They're not really representing what is actually happening. They're not truly representing engagement, but they have that Kingmaker system, which really drives the point home. And drops is just another example of people going and kind of farming various things, but not necessarily engaging in streams and that kind of content. So it's a whole mess of a situation over there, and it's just going to be something that we'll have to see how it kind of continues to fall downhill over the course of the next couple years. But back to the topic at hand, when it comes to Throne and Liberty, when it comes to the release of this upcoming game, I think what we're going to start to see is we're going to learn a little bit more here in February. I'm expecting that we're going to get some news on that. I'm working on a couple of different lore-based videos for you guys, because there's a bunch of lore that's already out there about the game. I posted an original video about that, and y'all seem to really like it. So thank you guys so much for checking that out. Lore videos are the most work, and typically, in my experience, end up having the least amount of engagement. It's one of those things where people say they want lore, and then you make a lore video and nobody cares about it. And then you're like, well, all right, I guess I'll stop. But you guys responded really well to that video, so I'm going to work on making that. Then at the same time, once this beta officially kind of concludes at the end of this month, that's when I think we're going to start to get closer and closer to the release information, to an understanding of how this game is going to roll out over the course of the first half of this year, and to see if this NC West layoff has truly an impact, right? They could still be the publisher. They could still say this isn't going to impact it, but it does make me lean that they are going to be working with a Western-based publisher, and that makes it, weirdly enough, an easier way to kind of lay off the staff to be able to make sure that that happens in the long run. I'm leaning Amazon. Let me know if you're leaning Amazon, Microsoft, or NCSoft in the comments, because that's going to be something very interesting, and maybe I should put a poll up on the community page to get you guys find out what you guys are thinking about it. But I'm going to wrap up this video. I don't want to ramble on too much. I do appreciate you guys for checking it out. If you feel like it earns it, that like button, subscribe button. Also, the comments below are always great ways of helping these videos continue to grow and continue to do well in the algorithm itself. Appreciate you guys. Hopefully I'll see you in my next video, but until then, take care.